myself, and I know some of you out there have as well. You guys have sent me your screenshots and gameplay clips using them. And I think Bo is very unique. I know a lot of people out there in the community don't really like him because they feel like he needs a nerf. They feel like he needs to be better for the requirements to have him. Like, I know his attack can be difficult to land because of the pattern of the shot going left to right. And his attack, one shot fires 3 arrows, and they're kind of in like slow succession, so it kind of takes a little bit for the whole attack to finish. But I am definitely in the minority, as Bo is one of my favorite characters I have right now. I've been using him a lot the past couple days, and once you figure out how to play him and how to land your shot, I think he's phenomenal. So, let's get right into this breakdown of Bo. Now, Bo's level 1 health is 3,600, which is on the better side of level 1 brawlers. So the 3,600 health is nice, it's not bad. The only problem is by the time you get him so late in the game at 3,000 trophies, that by the time you get him and start using him, you're going to be running into opponents that have a lot of experience with the players that they're running. And when you get out there and you're trying to figure out how to use Bo's shot, it can be frustrating because you feel like you're getting outgunned at a higher clip than you probably should. And then people just kind of give up on the guy. And they're like, alright, if I can't outduel a Colt who you get from day 1, then I'm not going to bother using this guy because his shot sucks. Now that's the consensus on him. I don't feel that way. So his attack is called Eagle-Eyed, and it reads as Bo releases a trio of exploding arrows, tearing up enemies like an eagle's talons. Now, like it states, when you tap the fire button 1 time, he will shoot 3 arrows. Now at level 1, it does 420 damage per arrow, which sounds good if you think about it. Because if you land all 3 shots, you can do 1,260 damage, and that's just with 1 tap of the fire button. So if you were able to land all 3 attacks, which is a total of 9 arrows, you can take out a lot of brawlers with that just off rip. Now, the problem is that might sound good, like, oh yeah, there's a lot of times when I'm using a character and I can shoot all 3 times and get all 3 hit markers. With Bo, it's very different because, like I said, his firing mechanic going left to right, it is very, very hard to land. It's hard enough landing all 3 shots from 1 attack, never mind 9. It's very hard to land. You really got to be on top of your shit if you're going to land 9 arrows on the same character. His reload speed is also 1.7 seconds, which is a little slower than the average, but I feel like you're not always waiting on his reload because, like I said, you tap the fire button 1 time, you shoot 3 arrows kind of slow. So it almost feels like when you click it 1 time, it almost feels like you're doing all 3 of your attacks, but you're only doing 1. So the slightly slow reload speed, I don't find that to be a problem with him. I really don't. It really doesn't. I didn't even notice it was that slow, to be honest, because I'm trying to pick my shots with him and land as many arrows as I can, and I don't like to just spam the auto attack with him. Because you really got to aim and you got to try to figure out where your opponent is running and in what direction they're going to go, so you can try to lead your shot so you can hit him with as many arrows as possible. Now, another thing I like about Bo, I know it doesn't mean much, but he's really cool looking. I gotta give it to him. I think he's one of the coolest looking characters in the game. And his attack with the exploding arrows, I feel like almost like the screen, maybe not the screen, but I feel like it like shakes the battlefield. Like, I feel like you really feel the power in the explosions. So I like that. I feel like firing the arrows into like a tight window, you know, the explosions slay 3 in a row like that, I feel like it's a really intimidating attack. Like, I feel like if you're running and there's a bow and you shoot an arrow towards you and, like, the battlefield is just blowing up around you, I feel like it's intimidating, and I feel like you don't want to mess with him, especially if he gets you from mid-range, mid to long range. Speaking of range, his range is 8.5 tiles, which is good. That's good. It's longer than a lot of the longer range shotguns. So you want to stay in the mid to slightly long range. You're not going to outgun a Piper or a Brock, but if you can get in the mid range, then that's his sweet spot. So I like Bo's regular attack, but the bread and butter for him is his super. Now, I'm sure all of you out there have ran into his super, probably even been killed by his super attack. His super attack is called Catch a Fox, and it reads, Bo hides explosive traps on the ground. Enemies stepping on them will get blown up and away. Now, so when you use it, you can shoot it over walls or cover. And what it is you kind of shoot an arrow with like 3 little explosive charges on it. So when the arrow hits the ground, these 3 charges, they spread out. And they're invisible to the opponent. Now, I know some people are like, oh, it's not invisible because I can see them. They're really faint. You can only see them if you're the Bo or you're on the same team as Bo. Then you can see the charge very dim lit on the map, but the opponents can't see it at all. They have no idea until they trigger it. So for the people out there saying that it's not that good because it's not invisible, for your opponents, it is, in fact, invisible. Now, the first thing that comes to mind when using the special or seeing somebody use the special is how amazing it can be in gem grab, because you can constantly try to keep invisible bombs right around the gem mine, so when the opponents swoop in to try to grab the gems as they come out, they're going to trigger those bombs. And another cool thing about the bomb, it says it blows them up and away, and that is in fact true. If you run over it, the bomb will appear. For the opponents, it'll appear as a red ring, and it blinks a couple times, and then it blows up. And when it blows up, it knocks them upwards, and it blows them in a direction. Like if they're standing like right behind the mine, it's going to blow them backwards. If they're in front of it, it's going to blow them forwards, left and right, etc. So that's another really good thing about it, is because the mines are kind of tight together. When they spread out, they don't spread out too far apart from each other. So if you catch an opponent on one and it blows them up, there's a good chance it's going to blow them right into another one, which then could also blow him into the third one, if the second one doesn't kill him. Because these bombs do a lot of damage. They do 1,440 damage per trap, which is crazy. So if you catch them with 2 of them, you're pretty much doing almost 3,000 damage. Which, again, if you catch a lower ranked opponent, they're dead from that. And if you hit them with all 3, a lot of players are going to be dead from that. Now, you can only have 3 mines out at a time. So say 2 of the 3 you put down get set off, so you have 1 mine remaining. If you shoot another special and you put down 3 more mines, that 1 mine will go away. So the most mines you can have on the field at a time is 3. But to be honest, 3 is really all you need. You can put it anywhere. You can put it in the grass. You just try to put it in a spot where you know the enemy is going to be. Like if there's a nice gem grab and on their side of the mine, there's like a little grassy area, like a nice tight funnel area. If you can put the bombs right in that area where you know that they're going to come through, and while they're coming through it and they set them off, if you can put some of those explosive arrows in there also, there's a good chance you're going to wipe out everybody in there. Now, another tip I have for his special is you want to try to fire it when the enemy can't see you fire it, because if they see you fire it, then they'll be aware that there's mines somewhere, and then they can just try to walk just close enough to get in the blast radius to trigger it, and then back out of it. So, like if the opponent team gets wiped out, or if a couple of them get wiped out and they go back to their spawn to respawn, if you can get down the mines then, they'll have no idea, and they'll just run right out there. So you definitely got to play with Bo smart. I don't really understand all the hate on him. I think he's very good. He's one of my favorites in the game. So with that being said, let's jump into his star power, shall we? Okay, so his star power is called the Circling Eagle, and it reads, Bo gains the ability to spot enemies hidden in bushes from an uncanny distance, shared with teammates. Now, for those of you who don't know, when you're playing a game with any character, when you go into the grass, I think you can see like one tile length in front of you and to the sides of you. And that's when you're standing in the grass and like the grass right in front of you is the color of it changes for you, like it kind of gets a little darker. That allows you to see anything that's in that spot. Now, with Bo's star power, you don't even need to be in the grass to see it, because I believe it's 7 tiles deep you uncover when you're walking, which is unbelievable, especially if you're doing like a showdown with a ton of grass in the middle, or any game mode with a ton of grass. If you're Bo with your star power and you're walking in it, you have a giant circle around you where you uncover everything. So the opponents won't see you, but you and your teammates will see them. So while they're standing there like a bull trying to hide in the grass, and you see them and you're in the grass also, he's not going to come after you because he's not going to see you. But you'll see him, so you can line up your shots perfectly, because he's not going to be expecting somebody just to start firing on him exactly where he is. So I think he has probably a top 3, definitely a top 5 star power in the game, just because it's so useful. Because how many times have you guys been playing a match and then you just get hit from behind and gem grabbed because somebody got into the grass on the sides of the mine and you didn't know that they were in there? Or you're in a showdown, you run into the middle and you get ambushed by a bunch of people that are in the grass with you. Bo is going to see all of those characters before they see you, and you will have the jump on them. And the teammates on your team will also be able to have the jump. So, Bo's star power is great. Now, when I've been using Bo, I found that there's one character in particular who I love going against them when I'm using Bo. And it's because he makes the firing mechanic so much easier. And that's everybody's favorite punching bag, Frank. The fact that Frank can't move when he attacks and he's so big and lumbering, he's very easy to land your shots on. And if you can stay in that mid-range and like he's about to use his super or something, you can just sit there and you can just keep on tagging him up with those arrows. And then with the mines, like if he's running and he happens to stop to try to attack and he lands like on top of the mine so he can't move while he's mid-attack, like I know I usually don't call out brawlers versus brawlers. Maybe that can be another segment to try to figure out who gets the upper hand on who. But I feel like Bo especially has Frank's number. Like there's 3 things that Bo owns, I feel. He owns one of the coolest helmets, he owns explosive arrows, and he owns Frank. So, let's get into the ranking. Now, this is going to be controversial. I'm probably going to get some backlash for that. But 1 through 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. Right now, as is, I'm gonna give Bo an 8.75. I don't want to give him a 9 yet because his primary attack can be spotty. You can have one of those games where you catch opponents just going the opposite way, like they're going right to left when your shot goes left to right. So it's almost impossible to hit him with more than 1 arrow at a time. But if you can figure it out and you can deal with opponents like that, and you can be like, alright, let me lead them, and then I might be able to hit him with the back 2 of the 3 arrows, then you'll be all set. So I like Bo a lot. 8.75 is what I'll give him. Alright, so that is our character breakdown on the 3K Cup Bo. Now, I got some fan questions that we're going to answer now in this segment. Let me just pull them up here. Now, these 2 fan questions were sent to me through the Discord group. There's there's a group in the Discord chat just for podcast questions that people want me to answer on the pod. So if you're interested in sending me some questions, that's definitely an easy way to do it, as we have a channel devoted just to that. So go ahead, please feel free, join Boston Brawlers podcast on Discord. We don't have a lot of members in there right now. I'm trying to do some promoting on Reddit, Facebook, and Instagram, trying to get some people in there. But it's been a pretty slow start, so I could really use the support. So go ahead, guys, jump in there.